read over 300 self-help books, and I've noticed that there's 5 key lessons that is present through all of them. In this video today, I'm going to highlight each of them. Let's go. So before we get into this, let me just preface this video to tell you that I was literally one of the worst students growing up. I was not able to complete any reading comprehension assignments. Reading was the last thing I was ever thinking about doing. I was not the smartest kid. I was not in any of the gifted and talented classes. I was diagnosed ADD, ADHD, and was put on pills for it. So the life I'm living today by being this massive reader, and as you can see behind me, have this massive library in my home, is a complete 180 shift. So if you're watching this right now and you're like, I don't read books, or I can't focus, I don't know what Owen's talking about, but he's got a decent looking mug and I'm gonna watch this video anyway, I want to be the first one to tell you that there's total change that's possible in your life, because I was literally someone who would never ever take on the assignment that made me read a book and then write a report on it, or I would literally go through a reading comprehension assignment, read the prompt, get to the questions, and completely forget what the heck I just read. But now I'm literally getting paid to read books, and I'm able to deliver these insights to you, which is probably why you're watching this video too. Go ahead, read the 300 books if you like. You totally should. I'd encourage you to do that, but you're here for a good reason, so you can find what those 5 key insights are, and you can apply them to your life right away. But right before we jump in, please do me one quick favor and subscribe to the channel, like this video, and please hit that notification bell, because it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to YouTube's algorithm, and also it's going to allow you to know when I post the next video. So without further ado, let's hop right in. Lesson number 1, the power of a growth mindset. Mindset is absolutely everything. I spent 6 years in college basketball, and I cannot tell you how important it is about the conversation that's happening between your ears, whether good or bad, but after a loss or after a win, after a screw up at work or an amazing moment and getting an amazing accomplishment. The conversation that's happening in your mind and knowing that you can grow into a stronger mindset is absolutely crucial, and it's one of the biggest lessons that's highlighted in all of these self-help books. If you haven't read the book by Carol Dweck called Mindset yet, I totally encourage you to do so. But very quickly, she talks about the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. For literally decades, if not centuries, humans have always thought this is the way it is and this is the way it's going to be. They never thought they can grow into a stronger mindset. The person they were and the knowledge that they had when they were born and as they were growing into their adult years was them, and that was their life, and that was it. And truly, from an own personal story, my grandfather had that same mentality, and he immigrated over here from Italy. But beyond that, today we now know that our minds and our brains can create these neural pathways, and it's called neuroplasticity, where our neurons can create new pathways through our brains and through our bodies to get smarter and get stronger and create new movements in our brains so that we can grow into new levels of intellectual knowledge. And again, I learned this so strongly during my years of working under Coach Dan Hurley that you can absolutely dig yourself into a ditch with a bad mindset, or you can completely lift yourself from the ashes and turn into a champion, as we did a couple times, and he continues to do so. And the other big piece is that we're having literally 60,000 thoughts a day, and if you're not being conscious of those thoughts and turning the ones that are bad away, filtering them out, and then taking the ones in that are good and uplifting, then you're going to find yourself having a very hard time when it comes to staying calm in your own mind. Because if you're not able to master that, then it's very hard for you to master any externals in our lives. So focus on the good and uplifting thoughts and develop a growth mindset, because there's so much power in it. Let's move on to lesson number 2. Embrace failure as a stepping stone and as a learning lesson. This was the most massive mindset reframe for me during my business journey, and even prior when I was going to grad school and working in college basketball. Every time I would fail, I would just dwell into a deep, dark place and not think I could get out. But then once I noticed that all the successful people have literally embraced failure and saw it as a stepping stone and literally seen it as a learning lesson, something that they nearly optimized for, and that I do now too, was the craziest mind change that I never would have experienced. Because truly, failure is not the end. It's literally the beginning. The more you can fail, the more things you know you shouldn't do, and then that allows you to have a smaller subset of things to do so you can create the success that you're looking for. And if you're not failing, then you're probably doing one or two things. 1, you're not setting big enough goals, and 2, you're not stepping out of your comfort zone as much as you should be. So you should encourage failure, and you should see it as a learning lesson, because it was was one of the massive lessons I captured from these 300 self-help books. And today in business, like I said before, I truly optimize for failure because now I know every time I fail or whenever something doesn't work, it's literally a checklist of things not to do and then gives me a smaller list of things that I should do that will allow me to success. And for a little basketball analogy for you as well, if you're not taking shots, how do you expect to score any points? So if you're afraid to take shots that you're going to airball or rim out, you're never going to find the success that you desire because you're not taking that action. So embrace failure, see it as a learning lesson, and see it as a stepping stone towards the success that you desire. Lesson number 3, which is so crucial today, is building meaningful connections. And I need to learn this lesson over and over again myself because our devices take over our lives. And it's so easy to not be present physically or mentally with our loved ones, peers, colleagues, or even new people that you just meet at a networking event or even just on the street. We're literally in the age of connectivity, but are we actually connected? This lesson delves into the genuine connections that we should be building on a daily basis, whether offline or online, and being fully present and actively listening for other people. A lot of us, and again, myself included, because I'm still a student in this whole game of life, we don't want to be listening to react or respond, but we want to be listening to literally have that active listening and hearing what the people say, so you can then formulate a great response right back at them rather than just regurgitating what they just said to show that you were listening or say whatever that was already on your mind that you wanted to get off your chest. And there's a great book that you should read about this called Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi, and it literally outlines how you should never eat alone, right? You should always be making genuine, meaningful connections with anyone, whether it's a stranger or it's someone you've known for decades. And the byproducts of doing so are tremendous because you're going to gain mental, spiritual, and physical health gain from this too, because when two humans connect, I mean, we're social animals. We were put on this earth to interact. Now we obviously have these social networking platforms that we're all crazed about. That's why we're so glued to it. But at the core, in our human biology, we are built to be social animals to interact with one another. So if you could put the phone aside and start building these meaningful, genuine connections with people, you're going to find yourself become far more happier and fulfilled in your life. And one other great book I will recommend to you is called Connected by Nicholas Christakis. It's this incredible book about how we're all, a couple degrees separated from one another, but the impact that you might have on someone's like third or fourth connection is still so apparent between that connection you have with that one person. It's way harder to explain, so I totally encourage you to read the book, but it's just amazing to know the power and these network effects that we could have between each of us on a daily basis and how that can ripple into each of our networks, people that we've never even met or will ever meet in our lifetime. So now moving on to lesson 4 is time management mastery. This is so crucial, and I actually did my honors thesis project on this when I was in college about the time management skills of Division I athletes, and I learned that they literally have each minute down to a science, and so do billionaires, so do massive CEOs, and so does anyone successful you know. You know that they handle their time well, and they make time for each things that are important to their lives. So a massive lesson I learned from these 300 self-help books is for you to hone in on your time management skills. And if you're going through life and you're getting to the end of the workday and you don't feel productive and 8-9 hours just pass by at your desk, there's some changes that need to be made, and you should totally consider reading books on time management or just auditing your time and seeing where your energy is going. And I can guarantee, like all of us, a lot of that time is probably going on our devices. So a good way to track that is either to put limits on your apps or go to your screen time and try to play a game with yourself to lower that number each day so that you can be ultra focused on the work that's at hand or whatever you're doing so you can be more present in your life. And the most interesting part about this time management mastery for me is that once I learned that we all have the same 24 hours, from Jeff Bezos to Oprah to LeBron James to the guy or gal next door, and other people are accomplishing massive things while somebody might not be doing exactly the same, it's truly incredible that we're all on the same playing ground from a time standpoint, and it comes down to what you're doing with your time. So once I embodied that, and I learned that through these self-help books, I started being meticulous about my time and really understanding where it was going and who was taking it and where my energy was going, and do I have energy vampires in my life or energy fuelers. And I started to make big decisions on who to center myself around and how to spend my time. And I noticed that my productivity increased, my business increased, my income increased, everything increased, my happiness, and it all stemmed from understanding how I was managing my time and where I was spending my time. And right before we get into the last lesson number 5, please take 5 quick seconds, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and please hit that notification bell so you you are the first person to know when I launch another video about learning better, having more effective strategies about life, reaching your goals with your business or your career, and ultimately making 2024 your best year yet. So with that, let's hop into lesson number 5, cultivating a habit of gratitude. Practicing gratitude is an absolute game changer. It was for me, and I've noticed it with so many of my peers. But it's so easy to look over how thankful we could ultimately be. We are constantly can be fixated on the lack rather than the abundance. And I was in those same shoes not too long ago. I was fixated on what I didn't have or the troubles that I might have endured growing up, rather than knowing that just even being a breathing soul on this earth is more than enough, and I should be fully grateful for this opportunity that I have. So one major practice that I started last year that I'm continuing into this year for me to know that I'm going to continue to cultivate this habit building of gratitude is by keeping a small journal by my bedside and recording 3 to 5 things each night before bed of what I'm grateful for. And this might seem like a very easy, simple task, and you're going to think, oh, and what outcome or what impact is that going to have on me? But truly, the last thing you think about before going bed is known to be the first thing you think about as you rise, and then also that seeps into your subconscious during your dreams. So if you're going into bed in a very relaxed, calm state of full gratitude and being thankful for everything that you have, can you imagine how good you're going to have a sleep and how much positivity you're going to have through your sleep and your dreams, and then how excited you'll be as you rise up? And it's a simple practice, and you're going to notice that the subconscious benefits are going to be tremendous, whether you can literally figure that out on your own or you're just going to notice that you're happier, smiling more, feeling more fulfilled. And if you're living with a partner, I guarantee they're going to notice it before you call it out yourself. And this key lesson floods so many self-help books for an absolute good reason. 1, we don't do it enough, and 2, there is a literal euphoric feeling of bliss that you will have when you express gratitude on a daily basis. And it allows you to just take a quick minute to understand and think about what you do have, because our worlds are running at 100 miles an hour every single day. We're trying to get to the next meeting, we're trying to get to our kids' events, or we're trying to get food on the table. Whatever your life entails, I know is probably running at a crazy speed. So to take a couple minutes at any moment of the day, but in particular I do it at night right before bed, to take that time and just slow down and think of the 3 things you were grateful for today. It could literally be the smallest things, like someone held the door for you while you're walking into a building, or the Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts lady was super nice to you. Anything. Just write it down, and I guarantee it's going to have a massive impact on you. And super quickly, no affiliate link, no business connection, but the 5-minute journal is such a great product that you should get that will allow you to build this practice a lot easier. I'll drop the link below in the description for you to check it out. I have 2 copies, and literally it's so beneficial for you to write down your goals and what you're looking forward to in the day, but also to reflect and express gratitude towards the end of the night. So that just about wraps up the 5 key lessons that I've gained from reading over 300 self-help books. And I hope you found value today. And if you did, please comment below the major lesson that you thought was most interesting or that potentially shocked you. I'd love to hear it. And then also please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep making more. See you guys soon. Peace.